Hi, it's Sarah SMUTNY, your host of the Simply Balanced podcast. I'm super happy that you're listening in today. And here in this podcast, we are going to go deep on gut health, anti-inflammatory living, spirituality, self-care, and so much more.
Hi, Chris. So I'm very, very happy to finally have Chris here.
Finally.
He is a breathwork teacher. I followed one of his retreats last year, and it was amazing. Since then, I'm a big breathwork fan, and I'm so happy that we finally made it, that I can interview you. So yeah, hi, Chris again.
Hello.
Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Who I am, yeah. Well, I'm Christopher. I live in Lyon. I guess I was born near here. I was born south of here, but I've always lived in Lyon, and with an English dad, which is why I speak English, who took us to America really quickly for 7 years, then back to France, then to England, then back to France. So it's a lot of movement in my life. So basically, I speak French and I speak English.
Yeah.
And then I did IT though at university in England. I got a master's in IT, so nothing with what I do now. But
how did that happen, that you then changed completely to what you're doing now?
Nothing spectacular. Just I kind of knew I didn't really like what I was doing while I was there, but obviously the university life was fun. Quickly, after 1 year in the industry, I was like, I need something else. I met a girl who I still know. She's my ex now, but she traveled in Mexico, sorry, which is where I went for. So I went traveling for a year and a half, which is where I discovered yoga. I didn't really enjoy it the first time, to be honest. It was a class full of girls. I didn't know what was going on, but then I bought a meditation book in 2012, and I just started meditating on my own, just trying that out. And then I started practicing postures, the physical yoga in 2014, 15, 14, still in Mexico, just before coming back. And yeah, I got hooked maybe 2015 when I started practicing yoga traditionally in a school. And then I definitely got hooked when I discovered Soma Breath and Breathwork the following year, 2016 or 17. And yeah, ever since 2016, it's been steady trainings and learning and yeah.
But what was your first impression with when you started practicing more yoga and meditation also after you had bought this book? What made you hooked, let's say?
Yeah, good question. The feeling of discovering something new as well, and looking into it and realizing little by little how vast it is, and starting to understand why everyone's into yoga. And the feeling behind the actual breath work, which is what got me hooked, because it actually does make you feel good. And you're like, whoa, why does it make you feel so good? And then meditation was hard, to be honest. I liked it, but it was very difficult to hold the posture. And now I got back into meditation, which is something more subtle. So I should have maybe started with movement and breath work, but which has a more stronger impact, more sensations, and the more easily accessible, I want to say.
Yeah, I want to say also that what I liked about breathwork when I did also when I was following your retreat, that it's basically meditation in action.
Yeah.
Kind of, because you are basically guided and you do something like in, out, it's just breathing in a way, what we anyway do every day. But I mean, it feels active. So it's not like in the meditation where you sit still and you, basically your mind is racing, especially for people who are having vata like me and many other people out there who have, a busy mind. That's why I found it very, very, as you say, accessible and easy to directly get into it. Yeah. What is your experience with that?
Yeah. Some people feel like they can. Some people sit down. It's a minority, I want to say, but they can sit down without any prior practice and just enter a meditative state pretty simply. Most people, I want to say, need some sort of some sort of training, some sort of activity beforehand, namely breath work, which is why in the yoga system there is breathing practices prior to meditation. It's not for nothing. But
Mm.
yeah, and for those people, this sort of practice definitely quiets the mind and puts you in a more spacious state.
Yeah.
And what I love about this particular technique, Soma Breath, it's called, is that it works pretty much every time.
Mm.
Like yoga works as well, running or whatever, you always get the feeling, but it's definitely the word that comes back more and more from my students is reset. You always have a reset with Soma Breath.
Yeah.
You start in one state, you do the breathing, and in 15, 20 minutes, you're more positive, you feel better, and yeah, you have a reset. So it works every time.
Yeah.
No matter how many times you've been doing it as well. You don't build a tolerance to it. You
Yeah.
do bits, but yeah, it's very accessible for modern people as well. It's because there's, as you said, there's the in and the out. It's kind
Yeah.
of an imposed rhythm. You're not counting in your head. There's no metronome.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I find. You can completely let your mind go because you don't have to, as you say, think like, okay, how many breaths did I do already? Did I count perfectly? No, you're just completely guided. You kind of say, shut up your mind. You're even like in this, it's like in this, these jokes from the child from the school about the blonde woman, where you said there was one joke when I was young about blonde woman who doesn't even know how to breathe, and she has this headset on that says in, out, and then the hair cutter takes it off, and then she's basically dead. It always makes me think of that. So
I
yeah,
didn't know that joke.
basically almost like for people who don't want to think at all, even the breathing is taken care of. So yeah, it's
Mm.
amazing. So what
Yeah.
is so special about Soma breath?
Well, I would say it's nothing. They didn't create anything new on the breathing side, apart from the guidance with the in and
Mm,
the out. This sort of structure comes from pranayama. It's been there for a long time. This sort of rhythmic breathing, followed by an empty retention, and then a full retention. That's just classic pranayama. But
yeah,
then they added the music because the founder is an actual. He used to guide ecstatic dances. So there's a lot of music with which you can travel. In
yeah,
French, you say voyager.
yeah,
You can let yourself get taken away by the music, and it's
yeah,
amazing music as well. It's not just him who creates it. He has a bunch of musicians, and they got amazing music for you to breathe to. And so it gives us as instructors um, a lot of material to work with and make compilations. And so you basically become a DJ as well.
yeah. It's awesome.
And
I really love
yeah,
the music behind. So
that's
yeah, and
amazing.
anyone who has not tried it yet, at the end, of course, Chris will tell us how you can contact him because he offers his breathwork as well online. So as you get kind of an audio, so you can do it wherever you are. If you're in the train, if you're
Not
in your
driving.
bed, on your sofa, you can do it everywhere. That's super handy. You don't have to go to a studio to do the breathwork. Of course, that's also possible. But you would say, what would you say? It's good to do it, of course, the better, more often and less than do it.
It depends. That's a good thing as well because it's the structure of Soma breath is it comes in cycles. They're breath cycles. You want to do
Mm,
at least two to get some benefits. And two you can do in 15, 20 minutes. That's the sort of reset.
yeah,
You can do three, which starts really changing your state of consciousness and you're entering deeper states of meditation. 4 or 5 cycles of breathing, you definitely that you want to do more moderately. So two
yeah,
cycles you can do every day. 3 or 4, I'd do it every other day, maybe. 4, 5, 6 cycles, maybe once every week max,
yeah.
because it's more
And
of a
you
shock.
would you say that you also then enter more like a theta state?
Depends, but uh, I'd say, yeah, they've actually measured the brain waves. Why one guy actually studied, one of my trainers actually, he studied the brain waves to what happens to during a group of people after only 2 cycles of Soma breath. And there actually, yeah, there was a lot of theta, but there was this also activation of this one part of the brain, I think is the right um, insula, which is linked to sensations of unity, connection, and compassion as well. And I think those are the words. I can't remember exactly, but basically, it's a similar state that some really experienced meditators get into, and you do get this sort of bliss state at the end. So it's not for no reason that
Yeah. Oh, I
these
love this. Unity,
yeah,
compassion, and what was the last one?
bliss, I want to say.
Yeah.
Because they
That's
ask the
actually
people to
what we
write.
all want, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
exactly
we
what
all
you all
want.
want. That's what you feel during it. So yeah, you
Yeah.
do feel.
So, with everything I know already about breathwork, I'm super convinced that it's very, very helpful for gut healing as well, because
Mm.
it has a very good effect on the vagus nerve. And so for everybody who's now listening, the vagus nerve is actually going from the gut up to your brain and it's linked to all the organs. And basically, when you have a blocked or not stimulated vagus nerve, you have all kind of issues. And that's why the main goal with gut healing is, of course, healing your gut microbiome, but also healing the vagus nerve. And this you can do by eating, of course, more fiber, exercise, and eating less sugar, etc. But breathwork and meditation are really important tools, I would say, for that. So do you also have some clients who had a good experience with breathwork, for example, like on their gut health, on their digestion, or
On the digestion, not that comes to mind. People who come to me with digestive health, normally they want yeah, they're looking into the nutrition aspect.
Yeah.
I do deal with a bit of nutrition as well. But I give them normal, usually I give them vagal toning, we call it. So it's ohms, chanting. Could be ohms, could be aum, it could be just the doesn't matter on the actual chanting, just something that vibrates.
Yeah.
That stimulates your vagal tone and will therefore help your gut microbiome.
Yeah.
And any long exhalations, anything that that stimulates the parasympathetic, I want to introduce just simple techniques.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do. It's a good tool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just give breath work for healing the
Yeah.
gut.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So actually, I was so amazed when I came to your retreat that it's so easy to do at home. Because before I always thought that you have to go to the studio and yeah, it became quite complicated, to do it more frequently. But the way how you work, or I don't know if all of breathwork teachers work like this, but the way with these audios, which you can download and do it every day.
All you need is this.
So good, yeah, just with a good headset.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, such a good one. So if you haven't tried yet, if you're listening now to this episode, really try that. It's amazing.
I got to say I do teach in France. I've only got maybe 1 or 2 English sessions, but I do guide mainly in French.
Yeah.
But the counting's in English, so you can always just listen to the counting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the counting is in, out. So
yeah.
everybody
1, 2, 3, 4.
that.
Well, yeah, there's a bit of counting.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to also know, like, for what would you say, do you need special Soma breath? Like, do you have special sets of breath for different, let's say, conditions? Like, for example, for anxiety, depression, ADHD, or
personality disorders.
Yes. Do you have like special sets, or stress would also be one of them?
Yeah, obviously the big ones are you can tailor the breath work to suit the individual. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because we do use obviously slower breathing, some sort of coherent, balanced breathing, and we use a lot of fast breathing as well. I'm not going to give fast breathing to someone who's overly anxious.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give slow breathing to someone who's feeling very tired and needs kind of stimulation.
Yeah.
Like someone who's too depressed, for example. So yeah, you definitely have different formats for the person. But even the powerful ones, I call them the energized sessions, the ones that really boost you. And there is quite a few long sessions of fast breathing. After the fast breathing, your body goes into a parasympathetic sort of state. You're always going to be relaxed afterwards. It's just that during the breathing, you might be imbalanced based on your state.
Yeah.
So yeah, depression, anxiety, ADHD, I'd give more like meditation for that.
Yeah.
Because I do have I do I train people in meditation as well, and you definitely have different styles and categories in meditation that you can give to certain mental issues. And what's even better is that you give the right breathing technique to support that meditation,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
where
because you can combine them.
absolutely, and that's what I do in my training.
Yeah.
50-hour training in Lyon. We look at breath work and meditation and combine the two,
Yeah.
which is
That's
pretty
still
awesome.
one where I want to come join.
Yep, I'm waiting for you.
Yeah.
We're waiting.
This autumn might be the moment where I do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what now I forgot what I wanted to ask you.
No worries.
Yeah. So when you were just telling, for example, energizing for people who are always who need a boost basically.
Back down.
I was
Yeah.
thinking also of the Ayurvedic doshas, so
Mm,
Kapha, Vata, and Pitta
absolutely.
could be very interesting, like tailored on that, offering.
Well, that's what they do. But in pranayama, in Ayurveda, they have a special posture, pranayama techniques that'll support the dosha. For example,
Yeah.
I heard recently from one of my teachers that introducing what you call viloma pauses in the exhalation is recommended for vata. When you imagine you have to do a long exhalation, you do pause,
Ah,
pause. You add 1 to 5 pauses in the exhalation only. If you put them in the inhalation, it might support, I don't know, pitta or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's really interesting. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
super
what they do in
interesting.
Ayurveda.
Yeah,
They It gets really technical.
yeah, yeah. And isn't it also very powerful to combine breathwork with cold water immersion?
Ah, that's the realm of Wim Hof. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, they do use that style of breathing for cold water exposure for sure. Exactly why I couldn't tell you exactly why because there's multiple reasons, but you definitely get it in alkaline states through Wim Hof style of breathing. Um, you quiet the mind and you turn on a lot of hormones that is going to help you deal with pain or
yeah,
discomfort. So the cold, endorphins, for example.
yeah. And it brings down the cortisol level. That's what
And it
I,
brings down the cortisol, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
But doesn't also with your style of Soma breath, does it
It's
also
the
bring
exact
down?
same. It's the exact same format. It's rhythmic breathing, followed by empty lung retention, followed by full lung retention. Wim Hof does the same thing, except that his rhythmic breathing, it's power breathing.
Yeah,
He even breathes in through the mouth. With Soma breath, we do inhale for 4, exhale for 4. We'll maybe speed it up in the end and do power breathing. We might do in 4, out 8, 4, 8, we call that.
yeah,
So that's the difference with the rhythmic breathing. Wim Hof just goes straight to it. You'd breathe in 30 times.
yeah,
It's efficient, but it's a bit more. It's less fin. It's more pranayama yoga style. I want to say Soma breath than Wim Hof, which is why I prefer it.
yeah. I also
I
prefer,
wouldn't do it in the water, by the way. There have been some accidents in the water. Never do that breathing inside. Do it before.
yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I also prefer Soma breath because yeah, it just fits more to what I like. But
Mm.
certainly anytime any kind of breathing is amazing for you. So I would say experiment, try Soma breath, try Wim Hof, or try all kind of other breath work
I want to say though,
types.
it's important to understand the word breathwork gets used everywhere these days, and the actual word breathwork was used in the 50s or the 60s when the guy who created holotropic breathwork, um, well, the guy who created that, his name is Stanislav Grof or something, and he used that as a therapeutic tool to treat some of his patients, especially that have trauma, and that has nothing to do with breath retentions. That's just only hyperventilation. It's much more shocking for the system. It should be used definitely under supervision. There's also rebirthing, which I'm going to get trained in soon. Rebirthing is another style like holotropic. No retentions, just hyperventilation for maybe 40 minutes. There's music, there's guidance, there's other stuff. It's not just that, but breathing wise.
Yeah.
Soma Breath, Wim Hof, pranayama, we use breath retentions, which is much more balancing for the system.
Yeah. And then you can do also at home alone. I mean, not
Yeah.
supervised.
Yeah, exactly. Once you know what you're doing. But people they call Soma Breath, breathwork now. They call pranayama breathwork. They use breathwork all over the place. But just want to clear that up.
Yeah, very good that you made this clear. Last question is: would you say that that breathwork, especially Soma breath, what you're practicing, is also rejuvenating?
Yes. So it's any sort of stress, positive stress, what we call hormetic stress, is can be rejuvenating and have a positive effect on cellular, what do they call it? Autophagy or something.
Autophagy,
Cellular, yeah. Which is kind of like any positive stress, even like the positive stress comes from empty lung retention, where you're depriving yourself of oxygen, which is called intermittent hypoxia. You can get the similar effects from fasting, cold exposure, heat exposure, running. So yeah, all these sort of practices that build resilience. All these practices that stimulate a positive stress response, as long as it's intermittent, are going to improve your resilience. And therefore, in a way, it depends exactly what you mean by rejuvenation, but yeah, it can definitely build resilience to aging, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
I know, for sure. It's one of the best breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you combine this with alkaline eating, with lots of movement, fiber, nature, then it's it's always, of course, a holistic.
It's one pillar. Yeah,
breathing. It's one pillar. Of course, if you eat the whole day only fast food and then you do a little bit of breath work, of course, it will have some effects, but it's much more powerful if you combine it with the lifestyle.
Because there's the energetic system as well. If you want to go into the yoga, and all the energetic channels will be clean from your good eating. You'll get many more benefits from all these sort of practices if you're keeping the body free.
Like a virtuous cycle, you get into it.
Yeah.
I'm even more motivated now to do my daily breath work. I just booked,
you've got it.
booked another month with Chris of breathwork. So how can people contact you if they want to
of course.
try it?
So basically, I have a website, findingspace.fr. There's a button on there at some point, join weekly breathwork or be added to the breathwork list. There's also my Instagram, which has another button for joining online breathwork. My Instagram is Yogi Dearden.
But I will put it all in the show notes. Don't worry.
So yeah, basically Instagram, or on my website you can find the contact page, which goes to my email.
Yeah.
Basically, I need your email.
And then you're in the email list, and then you get
you're in. And if you want to train, that gets much more interesting for if you're a yoga teacher or a nutritionist, coach, anything actually. And you understand French. Obviously, I get a lot of English students at my trainings, but you do need to understand French. But then get in touch for 50 hours of diving deep.
Super cool. So thank you, Chris, that finally we made it. And thank you all for listening again to my podcast. And if you have any questions to Chris or to me about breathwork, about anything else, just reach out to us on Instagram, and we are very, very happy to answer all the questions and connect with you.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.